As business students at Western, we have done various research on many different companies' business strategies to determine their current success and conduct research to predict their future performance. Hi, my name is Savannah, and this is Team 10. In this presentation, my teammates, Jay, Luke, and Sean, and I will apply what we have learned to assess Tesla and give you the rundown of subsidizing Tesla automobiles globally. By now, we probably all know who Elon Musk is, but not all of us know about Tesla's business model or how they became so successful. First, we will go over some Tesla background and explain more about electric cars and subsidies and how their role will affect Tesla's market. We will then answer questions about if Tesla should rely on subsidies, if electric car subsidies should be enforced as a world standard, how Tesla has been successful, and how Tesla would do without any government subsidies. Finally, we will wrap up our findings with a conclusion and final recommendations on what Tesla needs to consider if they want to continue to be a well-known entity in the rising electric vehicle market industry. Let's first go to Jay to give us some background about Tesla.
Thank you, Savannah, for setting us up. Hi, I'm Jay, longtime Tesla wannabe owner. Now that we know what the case is about, let's go into more detail about the organization the study focuses on, Tesla Incorporated, formerly known as Tesla Motors. Tesla is a 17-year-old American electric automobile manufacturer. Though it was founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, most people connect Tesla to Elon Musk. Musk contributed more than $30 million, money he had as PayPal's co-founder, and started as chairman in 2004. In 2008, Tesla released the Roadster, an electric car that could travel farther on a single charge than any other current electric car could, and could compete with gasoline cars. Even though the Roadster had a $7,500 subsidy, which Luke will go into more detail on that in a moment, it still cost $109,000. Not pocket change at all. This was also the year that Musk would become CEO. 5 years ago, Tesla released a semi-sports car called Model X, but the people wanted a less expensive vehicle. Therefore, in 2017, they released a sedan for $35,000, a lot less expensive than their first vehicle. During this time, though, they were named from Tesla Motors to Tesla Incorporated because they started selling more than just cars. Tesla started working in solar energy products, like batteries to store solar energy. However, in 2018, Musk got the company in trouble. He tweeted, a verb that gets many people in trouble, about taking the company private because he had secured funding. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as the SEC, accused him of security fraud since his tweets were misleading and, frankly, false. While the SEC and Tesla tried to settle, Tesla rejected a fair deal when Musk threatened to resign. However, with all this happening, their public stock was falling, like really, really plummeting. So Tesla accepted a worse deal from the SEC, a deal which forced Musk to not be a chairman anymore, but allowed him to remain as CEO. Both Tesla and Musk were fined $20 million. That's just some general background on Tesla, but here's some bonus fun facts. A Tesla Roadster is currently chilling in space after Musk used his other company, SpaceX, to shoot it into orbit. You can't get a Tesla in a center. You have to custom order it online, so you can customize it into whatever you need. Tesla has created both the fastest electric car, but also the safest car in general. Finally, Tesla also created a dog mode for their cars to make them safe when you leave your dogs in them when you go to the store, and to tell passerbys that your dog is okay on a message located on their 17-inch infotainment screen. Well, that's a lot of information on Tesla, but let's go to Luke to learn more about subsidies.
My name is Luke Barrett, and I'm going to cover some important information regarding electric cars and subsidies. Subsidies are financial incentives given by a government entity in an attempt to boost a product or service, usually for environmental benefits. Subsidies for electric cars in the United States include a $7,500 tax break. It is estimated that the U.S. will spend between $15 and $20 billion on subsidies. Tesla, who is known for their electric cars, is going to be negatively affected in the near future because the subsidy stops after they have sold 200,000 units, and Tesla is approaching this number. This will likely reduce the consumer interest because many are interested because of the tax break. The warranty on electric car batteries is also different than normal vehicles. The warranty on the battery only lasts 8 years or 100,000 miles, which by some estimates is only half as long as one would have to drive the vehicle to truly make an impact environmentally. This can be discouraging to some consumers because some of the batteries can cost just under $10,000. Subsidies are not popular in every country either. In the European Union, only 12 of the 28 countries offer subsidies for electric vehicles. Another interesting note is that consumers only receive the tax break in the United States when they purchase the car. If they lease the vehicle, the dealership that is leasing them the vehicle actually receives the tax credit. So now on the next slide, I'm going to dive into it a little bit more detail and tackle a discussion question regarding this case. Hey, it's Luke here again, and I'm going to be tackling discussion question number 1. Question number 1 reads, should companies like Tesla rely on government subsidies in selling their cars since they are better for the environment than traditional cars? Basically what this question is asking, should the environmental issues be built into the competitiveness of pricing of the electric cars, or should supply and demand drive these prices? The answer to this is a combination of both, I believe. The case spoke about how sales of electric cars dropped in Denmark when the government quit offering subsidies for this. The connection between government subsidies and sales is undeniable. I believe that demand will increase based upon subsidies, and consumers are more concerned with price than being environmental friendly for the most part. That being said, Tesla will continue to depend upon government subsidies until they can reduce their price to where a wider range of consumers can purchase their vehicles. Now, I will hand it over to Jay as she will tackle question 2, which dives more into subsidies. Thanks.
Thanks for teaching us about subsidies, Luke. Hi, y'all. It's Jay again. I'm going to now go over question 2, which reads, should such subsidies, referring to electric car subsidies, be up to each country or region in the country, like America or California, or should there be a world standard enforced, perhaps by organizations like the World Trade Center or the United Nations? In sum, should environmental electric car subsidies be global or individual? There's a lot of factors to consider when deciding, since not all countries are created equal. The use of cars in countries matter. Like in the case study, Denmark isn't a country that uses cars a lot, preferring bicycles. So subsidies make less sense there compared to in, say, America, where we use a lot of cars. Another factor could be the strength of government and their ability to provide strong subsidies. Yet another one would be the concept of globalization and possible force. However, I'm going to focus on the factor of environmental benefits. Do electric cars do enough for the environment to bother with a globally enforced subsidy standard? Well, electric vehicles have zero direct emissions and are more than twice as clean as combustion engines. They also travel 3 times as far on comparable gallons compared to gasoline cars. Combustion engines create 1.2 to 1.6 times more CO2 emissions than electric cars. So, as we can tell, electric cars are better. Not perfect, but better. Not only do emissions from cars hurt our planet, but they hurt our health as well. Pollutants from gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles cause asthma, bronchitis, and cancer. Now, there is an argument that electric batteries create a lot more emissions when being built. However, this really depends on the manufacturing practices at use. Yes, they usually create more emissions, but they don't have to. Also, unlike combustion engines, they use all their emissions during the building process and then don't create any more. So they pay for themselves. Additionally, if subsidies were globalized, then technology for creating the electric batteries would skyrocket, cutting emissions even more. Therefore, it is really hard to say if electric cars subsidies should be enforced on a regional or global scale. Certainly, it would be better for the planet and for us if it was global, but it would be incredibly difficult to police and enforce. In a perfect world, Every region should want to promote cleaner transportation, but I just don't think we're there yet. In the end, though I think that promoting electric cars is a grand idea, I think it should be left up to the regions and countries. Perhaps if electric cars were the cure to climate change, I would feel differently, but they're just a step countries have to decide to promote themselves. With all that, let's go to Sean to talk more about how subsidies impact Tesla directly.
Hello, my name is Sean, and I will be discussing if Tesla got their success from their business strategies or from government subsidies. Tesla is a very successful electric vehicle company, but Tesla would not have made it as far as they are currently without a mix of both government subsidies and their business model. Plain and simple, Tesla would not have been created if it were not for the generosity of politicians. The company began from a loan which they recently announced they paid back, called the Advanced Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Loan. Along with this loan, Tesla gets a federal subsidies and in some states a state subsidy on top of that federal subsidy. The idea of a subsidy is not really a bad thing. It's pretty much just the government's way of investing into a company. For every purchase of a new Tesla, the federal government offers a $7,500 federal tax credit. These subsidies have become so central to Tesla's business model. Tesla has stated that its mission is to accelerate the world's sustainable energy, which seems to be the way everything is heading now. Tesla has made it clear that they want to be a different company than other vehicle companies that are getting into the electrical vehicle companies with the use of lithium batteries and the acquisition of the company Solar City, which allows them to put solar panels on top of their Tesla vehicles, which would allow them to charge using energy from the sun. All in all, Tesla is on its way to becoming a very successful company, but the company had to start somewhere and had to get loans from somebody. And in order to stand out in the market, they have to do something what they're currently doing right now. We will next hear the answer to question 4 given by Savannah.
So we've already explained Tesla and answered some questions about government subsidies. So now I want to explain how Tesla would do without any government subsidies. As we've heard, Tesla does benefit greatly with up to $7,500 tax credits, depending on the battery size, because it incentivizes consumers to purchase EVs. Even if that were taken away, we believe Tesla would still continue to exist in the EV market. Even though we think Tesla would be fine, there still are reasons to believe they would significantly suffer from cuts in subsidies. An example of what might happen if Tesla stopped receiving subsidies would most likely be similar to China's EV market, because they have recently begun slashing their electric car subsidies by 10% this year, with plans of more reductions in the next 2 years. The reasons for these reductions is because they want to promote the survival of the fittest strategy, meaning if consumers won't buy it without any subsidies, then it's not desired enough to be on the market anyways. The cuts exacerbated a sales slump and led to a broader economic slowdown. One of China's top electric vehicle makers reported an 89% plunge in net profit for their third quarter because sales failed to meet expectations, which was partially due to the reduction in subsidies. The decrease in subsidies would most likely cause EV manufacturers to have to adjust their prices, so Tesla would need to increase their prices to reflect the decrease in subsidies. This could lead to higher prices, and many consumers might look elsewhere for more inexpensive options. While these reasons might make Tesla look like it would tank without government subsidies, there's also reason to believe that they have a very promising future without any funding. Throughout the world, everything is going electric. Currently, EV market is on the rise with a compound annual growth rate of 41.5% from 2020 to 2027. A report from BNEF outlines that EVs will hit 10% of global passenger vehicle sales in 2025, with that number projected to rise to 28% in 2030 and 58% in 2040. Another successful company besides Tesla is NIO Incorporated, a Chinese EV company that, with assistance from their government, has experienced exponential growth in the past 6 months. Their stock prices grew from $3 to $50 in just 6 months, which is an amazing growth. More than 40 plug-in hybrids and fully electric vehicles are already on the market in the US, with over 130 EV models for consumers to choose from by 2025. Tesla has a promising opportunity to be a leader in automotive innovation, and if they can rebound if government subsidies were taken away, they will continue to be a leading brand in the EV market. Overall, if government subsidies decline, Tesla might have a dip in growth, but they have a very promising future. They show no signs of slowing down and actually just joined the S&P 500, which is an index of 500 of the largely public traded companies in the US. The market for EV continues to climb exponentially, and taking away subsidies is not enough to stop that expansion. Now let's go to Sean one more time to wrap up our conclusions.
To conclude our case study about the electric vehicle company Tesla and their subsidies, we see that Tesla is a very successful company, but it started from government subsidies and loans. We also discuss how much tax credit was made off of selling just one Tesla vehicle. Tesla is on the way to do big things for the environment and help their customers to save some money. The business model Tesla runs off of is also very unique. They are the first major company to use fully electric vehicles with incredible miles to the full charge. They are also the first company to include self-charging solar panels to their vehicle. Although unique, there are other vehicle manufacturers catching on to the EV news and starting to make electrical vehicles of their own. So our recommendation to Tesla would be to keep trying to stand out and make it to where more customers want your vehicle. This concludes our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed our case study. As always, stay safe.